through the puddle.
You
and
did.
So many times over the course of the show, they would go, "Oh, you're off-world." Ah, okay, I'm off-world. So I walked through the puddle. No. No. Why not? It costs too much. So it cost too much for me to go through the puddle, so I never went through the puddle.
Yeah, I would second that. I think secretly, Major Davis always admired the SG team, studied the hell out of everything, knew how everything worked, blah, 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 but he never got a chance to actually go through the gate. I think there was one episode where I beamed up Scotty kind of thing to a mothership or something, but always wanted to, just for me too. Colin wanted to go through the gate, and I think Major Davis did too. So that was. I did.
Sorry, just before Ben answers, I did actually get to beam aboard an owl catch, which involved rings, lit rings that got added later, and
now freeze.
Yeah, now freeze. Lights on, lights off. I didn't know what the hell. What? But I'll tell you, I'll just show you something in a second physically, and maybe you guys can attest to this, but when there is something that occurs when they tell you to freeze, and then when the special effects are done and the lights go off and you're beamed aboard, your body naturally does something that is so Star Trekian that I didn't even realize it was happening until it happened when they go, okay, lights off, and I'll show you what it is. This is how it goes.
Oh God.
They tell you to freeze, right? And you're frozen, and then they go, lights off, and you go like this. Nobody tells you to do that. It's genetic. It just, you're in a sci-fi show, and it's like, and then you run like this. Light goes up first.
A little half hop skip. What about you, Ben?
I just wanted to go through the gate. That was actually a point of discussion when we got to about the 10th episode. I said, guys, I haven't gone through the gate. I want to walk through the puddle. No, seriously, I just want to walk through the gate. But, we've seen that before. No, I don't want to walk through the gate. I had this idea in my head because they built up this thing about Mitchell wanting to be a part of SG-1 that it would be a big moment when he went through the gate. And the first time that I actually went through the gate for a camera, it was for a promo. Yeah. It was for the opening title sequence. And I went, I don't even know how to do this. I gotta walk now, do I freeze?
Yeah, it's called Stargate, not Star Hula Hoop.
Star Hula Hoop.
No, there are a number of things that there's a lot of Mitchell that I wanted to see, and 2 years was not enough for me. So, maybe enough for others.
It's so funny. We're all talking about going through the gate because that's kind of like, it's like the ultimate thing to do. It's like it's Stargate. For me, I spent 10 years going, yeah, okay, go through. Yeah, okay. Go ahead. Looking like this. Just like whenever it's happening, I was supposed to look worried. But, if you'd been there on the show to see the guys coming through the gate, it was so hilarious. Because they would literally, of course they added all the special effects later, but in order to give the impression that, that they're get whipped through and they get thrown onto the ramp, they'd be just standing there on a box, just waiting, and there's like a mattress and some blankets. And then they go, okay, action! And the actor would just like jump off the box. Just fall on the mattress. It's so lame. I couldn't believe how lame it looked. And then of course you see it in the show. It's like, wow, holy shit, he just got thrown through. It's like action. The actual coming through the gate was just, man, you are bitter. Oh yeah, and if I did come through the gate, back to what I wanted to say was, I don't know, sir. I could have sworn Teal'c was right behind me. hard to say. I had small requests.
I always wanted to come out of the puddle with a snorkel. That would have been good.
Or hold your leg in?
Shark fin.
Oh my God! Let go! Stop!
Next question. We got a couple more people.
Yeah.
Hi, from South Dakota, first of all.
Wow.
And this question is for Ben. What was it like for you to come on to a show that had been already established for 8 years?
Scary. Well, you know, I had seen every episode of the show before I came onto the show. So, yeah, you know, so I sort of had a fan's eye view of the show. And I knew that there were a number of pitfalls in coming on a show that has the kind of fan base it has, that has the kind of epic storyline that it has, where you have Richard Dean Anderson, who is, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you have Rick, who's, you know, who is Stargate. His name came before the Stargate. And he wasn't going to be around, so, you know, regardless how many times I could tell myself, I'm not there to replace Richard Dean Anderson, which I believe, you know, inevitably someone would say, how do you think about replacing Richard Dean Anderson? Oh, I'm not that guy, don't blame me, it's not my fault. The show's gonna suck and it's all my fault. I'm sure there's somebody out there right now, I'm looking for the sniper. It's a Syrian candidate thing here.
Well, we welcomed him the first day on set. We all lined up and sat him there in the middle, and we said, listen, a-hole. Nobody, not you little punk, think you're going to replace Richard Dean Anderson. We're letting you know that right now. So we gave him the 1-2. Keep him honest.
No, really, I came in going, I'm here now. Let's get it done right. Yeah. That's what happened. Yeah, see, exactly. See, somebody out there, somebody believes that. I knew he messed it up. The show would still be running if Rick was around. Another 20 years.
Next question.
Oh, no one has it?
Ben, coming off of working with Claudia Black on Farscape, what do you do to make sure that it was a different and fresh relationship between the two of you and a different dynamic between the two new characters, but still working with the same person that you worked with previously?
Did you just say coming off working on Claudia?
Working with on Farscape.
You have clothes on, or you?
That's unlike working through the three of us.
Sorry, I just, we can't see all that well, and I'm like looking at someone in a banana sling. Oh, incredible haunt. Right, got it, okay. Well, Claudia created such a different character. The difference between Vala and Aaron was so radically different. You couldn't react the same to her. You know, Vala was. Vala was fully different. Yeah, Vala was Vala. So, you know, I don't. It wasn't. My job wasn't hard. You know, she's the one who created a vastly different character to react to. I just kind of come in and watched her. And, you know, and she's remarkable.
I've got a question for all three of you. I've been in the military for 25 years and I understand what uniforms are supposed to look like. How much did you guys notice or pay attention to the fact that sometimes the uniforms were absolutely spot on perfect and sometimes they were terrible?
I would say, I remember it was Barry, right? Well, one of the costume guys, yeah, man, he was adamant about it being bang on perfect all the time. And it's interesting, it's very rare. Are you ever on a set where the person who does wardrobe is telling the director how it's going to work? And a couple times he'd step forward and say, no, he's got to have the hat on, or this has to be this way, when the director was just like, oh, Jesus, all right, fine. So I know that at least when Barry was on set, they do their absolute best to make sure that, because they knew there were eyes on the Pentagon.